Hybrids, electric, and fuel-efficient cars reduce gas consumption, but they also reduce revenue from California's gas tax, which is used to finance road maintenance and repairs. Sacramento noticed, and now there's a study underway to find out if a road usage charge is a better option than the state's gas tax. My guest, Jim Medaffer, with the California Transportation Commission and chair of California's Road Charge Advisory Committee, joins me with the details. And Jim, how would this road usage charge actually work?
Well, when it's finished, and if it does get implemented, it's something that the public wouldn't even notice, just like they don't notice the gas tax right now. And the idea would be is this replaces the gas tax. Gas tax goes away, and instead you just pay for the miles you drive on public roads.
So that's what's different. The gas tax right now is based on what, gallons of gas you use?
Right. Gas tax is very archaic, first put in the turn of the last century, and it basically worked great when cars were getting 8 to 10 miles to the gallon and everybody pretty much paid the same. But with the fact that by 2025 you're going to see vehicles getting 54, 55 miles to the gallon, it means less and less money every day for our roads, and we've seen that with the way our bridges and highways are not being kept up with maintenance.
To help put this price point in context as far as the gas tax and how much revenue we're actually getting, your committee compared the average gas tax cost to a few other consumer costs like cable TV, cell phones, coffee habits, and internet feeds. How would a road usage charge affect the amount of we actually pay in gas taxes right now? You're saying it'll swap it out. That's
the idea. We want to swap it out and also catch up with where it really ought to be. So there's no question. We aren't paying right now what it takes to maintain our roads. Last time it was raised 18 cents a gallon. If you factor in inflation and the higher mileage we're getting in vehicles today, it's really about only 7.5 cents. And so when you think about it, cars today getting better mileage, paying less to maintain our roads, and yet things cost more today than they did 20 years ago to fix. This includes bridges, includes highways, and there's a lot of newer issues such as environmental concerns, stormwater rules, lots of other regulations that weren't contemplated back when the tax was last raised.
Sure, and as you mentioned, 1994, 18 cents a gallon, which is not really with inflation and all the things you mentioned, but why not just raise the gas tax?
Because it's broken. It's archaic. It just doesn't work anymore. As I mentioned, as we continue to see more and more fuel-efficient vehicles, it's a no-win situation. What makes sense is to study this notion of paying for the miles you drive. So therefore, if you drive 10 miles, you pay for 10 miles. If you drive 1,000 miles, you pay for 1,000 miles.
The fee,
yeah.
Not actually per mile, a per mile fee. Assembly Speaker Tony Atkins proposed this sort of stopgap plan because, as you mentioned, we're already in dire need of having road repairs that aren't being funded. And it's to get $10 billion of funding maintenance and repairs for California's road and bridges. Let's listen.
That would include $1 billion per year by returning truck weight fees to transportation instead of using them to repay GO debt. It includes $200 million per year for transportation funding by accelerating a repayment schedule for those transportation loans. And it includes a net of $800 million per year in new net funds for transportation by establishing a fee. A mileage fee, a road user fee, but it's a fee.
So that fee that she's talking about is very similar to what you were talking about. How is it different, though?
Well, what the Speaker is proposing is what I'll call bridge financing, if you will. It's stopgap. California's needs are into the billions of dollars. Her plan is $10 billion for 5 years. What we're studying is to replace, especially after that phases out after 5 years, is to replace the gas tax, and something that will go for the ages, that'll go long term. So people like myself who've been driving an electric car for 1.5 years now pay nothing. Will at least now be able to pay for what I cost to use the roads.
I see. There's some concerns about this, of course, and one of them is privacy concerns.
Absolutely.
How would you monitor how much mileage somebody would be driving, and how is a person's privacy protected?
Privacy is one of the very important things that we consider with the task force. And Senate Bill 1077, which implemented the task force, has some specific requirements that privacy must be maintained. To give you an example, as cars are getting more and more modern, telematics on vehicles now are constantly in communication with the internet and able to transmit data. In fact, the Air Resources Board is looking at maybe getting rid of smog checks for newer vehicles and just sending smog data to making sure the vehicles are kept up. Same kind of thing can happen where the vehicle knows the public roads it's driven on. Those are mileage clicks. Those are then transmitted. And then what you're basically deducted from your account, or whether it's in your registration or your insurance, you pay for the miles you drove.
Sure, but those aren't all in place now. So while this pilot program gets started, what's the protection?
Pilot program will involve all kinds of things, from just simply a paper log to smartphone apps that people that aren't as worried about time and place. But the key thing is to make sure that whatever data ultimately is collected does protect users from a privacy standpoint. So we will include that in our efforts.
All right, Jim and Def, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.